Welcome to the engine room on the bark Picton Castle. We'll start this tour up here in the fiddly. What you see right below you is the the starboard side ladder down with the outputs and input the fuel day tank. So if we go down the ladder here on this port side, we see the big scary black mixed AC and DC panel. This is the main panel, the main electric panel for the whole ship. This is a DC ship. We have some limited AC. So this panel is everything 108 volts. Forward we have more electrical panels. That's of course our main AC circuit breakers, AC primary distribution. Yes, lots of different sources available. Most of them even work. "12-volt charging panel, 12-volt circuit breakers, and one of our two inverters, the smaller of the two. That one runs off the 12-volt house battery bank. The one in the yellow box here on the forward watertight bulkhead runs off the 108-volt battery bank. I'm standing right now on the starboard fuel tank. Approximately 10 tons of fuel capacity in this fuel tank. And this engine we see up here, 1944 Lister air start. Beautiful little engine, runs like a champ, sounds fantastic. It's been converted to freshwater cool with a heat exchange. It originally was raw water cooled. It drives one great big alternator and another smaller alternator for the 12-volt system all the way forward. Now other toys, I have a light burned out here, so it may be hard to see. Yep, it's very hard to see in this light. When you walk around the other side, still also hard to see. That is our tertiary generator. We like to run it when we have fairly small loads to power that we don't want to use the batteries for. That's a 1968 Saab Model G. Also driving two alternators, one putting out 110, 120 AC, the other one putting out 12 volts. One of our air compressors, the motorized dynamo here that is supposed to drive it is non-functional and will be removed and replaced with a DC engine or a DC motor shortly. Working aft, we enter the shaft alley. You can see the big propeller shaft runs straight out into the stern tube. That is not the transom wall. There's another 5 or 6 feet of ship beyond that wall that the stern tube pierces before it exits finally. And now we have a forward-looking shot of the reduction gear, or the VO gear. It does a little bit of reduction. Mostly what it does is control the variable pitch on the propeller so that we don't have to direct reverse the engine or any of that other junk. VPPs are a fun, wonderful invention, and here we are, the port side view of the main engine. This is a beast, 1964 MAN Burmeister & Wain 4000 24 Alpha series. The manual says it's 650 horsepower. Here's a little perspective on size. These are the fuel pumps, the individual fuel pumps. Injector pumps, that is. There's one injector on piston number 6 out of 7. This engine weighs 7 tons. Each cylinder block is about the size of my torso. It's a wonderful engine, really rugged. It's a beast, and it does what we need. Of course, on the starboard side we have our blowers and exhaust manifold, just like you would expect on any other. No, this is not turbocharged. Built-in fire pump set up here on the port side. Port side engine here, fuel tank. Here, 1957 Lister. This one has 3 alternators attached to it. This one is an electric start, so one of its alternators drives its battery, and the other 2 alternators, one of them charges the 108 volt battery bank, the other charges the pair of 12 volt battery banks. This one also drives our big water maker, direct engine driven, 65 gallons per hour. That's the big one. Our smaller one really is kind of a joke for a ship of this size. It's only about 15 gallons per hour. Great for a yacht. But when you have 20 tons of freshwater capacity, it's kind of a joke. Watertight door forward there. Big white cylinder heat exchanger. Electric motor, 108 volt, 110 volt electric motor drives our fire and bilge pumps. And yes, that's a manual clutch to run them. Can't really run them both at the same time, which is why we have another fire pump hiding over on the starboard side. Or the main engine can be rigged to drive either bilge or fire direct from its pumps. There is another ladder up on the port side, up there down in the fiddly. Yes, that's a great big exhaust stack just for the main. Air start bottles aft. Don't know their actual capacity, but we like to prime them to about 250 psi. The main engine start procedure is fairly athletic. It requires crossing the engine room 3 or 4 times. The most expedient way of doing that is, of course, to just walk across the top of the engine using the fine little jungle gym right over there. Hope you've enjoyed my tour of the engine room. Come work here. Have a good time. Play with old stuff. There's absolutely nothing in this engine room that's automated. Yes, you see my laptop sitting over there. That is a really fine toy for making music when everything is quiet as it is now. But there's absolutely nothing automated. I manually use this dial to voltage regulate for the battery charging system. Nothing is automated in this engine room, and you will learn an enormous amount of how things work by working in this space.